Cowboys. Let's get it. The name is Law Nation. And as the room fill up, be sure, and I mean just that, be sure to smash upon the like button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Let's go. Yo. Mama said there'll be days just like this. Come on. Yes. The Upfront, remember, it's all about the core. O-line, D-line. Then you build your team out from there. Let me know if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go over this like a fine-tooth comb. Let's get it. Happy Friday to you all. Yeah. If this is your first time here on The Nation, subscribe for more and more content like this. Let's go. I had to make sure I had the right buttons turned on. Come on.
I want Mason Ford help.
5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on. Let's go. The name is Law Nation. What's good with you all? I thank each and every last one of you all for tuning in on this beautiful day of a Friday today, or the 24th of the month of March. We talking Cowboys. Let's go. I get it. A lot of people looked at my previous video and they said, hey, Law, we don't need a small interior guy. We need a big, nasty guy. And Mozzie is better. Right, and Tupac is better, and Biggie is better. I get what people say when you say need, but what I want you all to do when evaluating players, tend to don't evaluate school, tend to don't evaluate verses, because you get lost in the translations. First and foremost, the best way to evaluate players' talent. Look at what they can do with the talent and the skill set that they got. Because what will happen here, it will cloud your judgment. You will start looking at programs in school, and then that will outweigh the talent. And then you would begin to only fixate it and have tunnel vision. And the one that you really want, you will be fixated only on that player, and you will lose the other percentages of players that's out there that's available. Once your said player is gone, and then you will feel miserable. Evaluate the talent. Evaluate the player from an isolated situation, and then plug them into the system that they're going to. Right? So you can't look at what happened to Tristan Hill and apply it to every single defensive tackle ever drafted for the Cowboys. It was a different philosophy. Rob Marinelli wanted him to play a certain way. And then you started to look at it, and then you say, well, all of the people that we draft now is going to be the same ilk. No, that's not how you do the evaluation. And even if you see someone that is very super talented, and then you start to say to yourself, oh, this guy will immediately be X, Y, and Z. And then you'll overanalyze and you'll pass up on a Dayron Bland, right? So that's how I look at it. I want people to stop having tunnel vision and look at what we are saying as a philosophy of what the Cowboys need. Interior guy, whether it's on the defensive line or on the offensive line. Your core. All core workouts work for the core, right? So what we're saying, that one of the gaping holes or the uncertainty or you can say reservations for this team from last night when we listened to the final word, or some people call it the last word, is, hey, just make sure that when you look at this offensive line, Terrence Steele, we don't know whether or not he's going to be healthy. And we get it. The reports from Cowboys camp will always be glowingly. They will always be optimistic about the fact that, hey, this guy will be back and ready. And the same was said to Michael Gallup last year, Damone Clark. These boys will be ready. But you got to contextualize that also, even though they say that said player will be ready, to what degree would they be ready? Will it be on the same scale or pace that they were previously before the injury? Or will it be something deteriorating from there? Or will it be a ramp-up situation and scenario? And one thing I can tell you for sure, in Cowboys country and over here in these parts, everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. No one cares about the player being injured. No one cares about the player coming from recovery and these sorts of things, because the 4-letter and the 3-letter network still got to pay bills. And they're going to say, oh, this dude is washed, or this dude is an accident waiting to happen, right? And the third of you all will be agreeing and putting right into the same page of what they're saying. That's just the reality of it. There's no patience with the Cowboys player. If the dude is coming from recovery, you guys would not give said dude benefits of the doubt. So with that being said, and understanding and knowing that, the Cowboys heading to the 2023 draft, you know what I'm saying? With the 26th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select, whether it's Mozzie or whether it's DeJuan Jones, whether it's whoever that's available, they are going to be the most talked about person day one. They are going to be the team in the topic line from first ladder, third ladder networks, and first take, third take, undisputed, and beyond. Just like last season, Tyler Smith was a guy that everybody said he holds a lot. He does a X, Y, and Z wrong, and he was a guy that maybe the Cowboys reached or picked for. You know what I'm saying? And then when he finally got out there, people were like, hey, this boy can ball a little bit, but he still have holding issues, right? Y'all remember that? And before that time frame, I can't think of another offensive lineman that performed better than Tyler Smith. I can't think of one. I know people were high on, what was the Seattle Seahawks offensive lineman? They was high on him. They was high on the Giants guy. He went to the Giants. He went from Alabama. They was high on all of those boys. But when you look back at it, they was high on the other kid that played for Tyler Linderbaum. Everybody was high on those boys. But at the end of the day, when all of the dust and the smoke went away, Tyler Smith was one of your better offensive linemen coming out of the draft last season. So y'all see how this goes, right? Neither here nor there. The same could be said with Sam Williams last season. I was telling people, you got to understand, when Dan Quinn get his hands on said player, the same thing that you guys was like, he's stiff in the hips. He can't bend. He's a one-trick pony. He only got the bull rush. And I've literally said, if you pick Sam Williams and you put him on maybe Ohio State, Alabama, he would have been viewed and recommended differently. But by him playing for Ole Miss, people look at Sam Williams like, Aiden Hutchinson better. And Aiden Hutchinson, had a better season, but it wasn't for leaps and bounds. He had more snaps, more reps, and I think that if you really contextualize what Sam Williams did last season, they were neck and neck for a good chunk of the year. And that was even with limited amounts of time playing on the field. I can only imagine if I sit back and look at Sam Williams, I can tell you guys, shoot. He probably would have been way up there. he probably would have been one of the guys that can be considered the best defensive guy coming out of the draft. But he was limited with his snaps or what have you. And that's a good problem to have, by the way. And I banged on the table for even Bland. I know everybody high on Sauce Gardner Jr. I think Bland had more INTs than him. And Tariq Woolen, shout out to him. I think he finished with the most INTs or what have you. But if you really look back at the tape, those guys are not light years far from each other. All right, so that's just what it is. So the main thing is the Cowboys, when you're heading into these type of things, there's always questions. I want to bring up this, and shout out to y'all, happy Friday to you all. So that's true. Law, Bama is the standard, always will be taking it from the Bears. Maybe he is RIH, rest in heaven. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. I feel what you're saying. He's always the standard. But Sauce ain't get beat, Law. But Sauce didn't get beat. This is from Al Kareem. They the Jets, man. They the Jets. And we can go back and forth. Sauce is better, if you want to do that. Sauce is way better than Bland. This is from Al Kareem. Yeah, I feel you. If you want to go that way. Yeah, if you want to go that way, Sauce first round draft pick, Bland is a 6th round draft pick, 5th, 6th, something like that. Value wise, Cowboys won on value proposition, right? And on top of that, Bland was thrusted in mid through the season, and he had to play 2 spots, right? He had to actually play inside nickel and outside. But it is what it is. But Bland did ball out, not to silly or denigrate Bland, right? I think that in a nutshell, when you think of everything, Bland is in a better system than Sauce, right? So we can go on and on with the analysis and the comparisons, right? But that's just how I go. Literally, somebody said Tricks. Literally saw Sauce getting beat. And here's my thing with Sauce Gardner. And this is my truth with any DB. There's not one DB that ever played in the National Football League that didn't get burnt. It's not one. Not even Dion Primetime. I posted a video on my Instagram. Boy, oh boy, the Cowboys burnt him in half. If Dion played his entire career at the Atlanta Falcons, he would never, ever lifted a Lombardi trophy, right? But by him jumping team to team, he won him a ring, right? So that's just how it goes too. Look, this is why football is such a unique vessel. It's a unique deal because it's no one person that can win it all by themselves. It takes a complete team. Until people realize that, shoot, you know what I mean? But here's the thing. The way the NFL is set up now is that they want it to be parity amongst the NFL, right? They want it to be everyone can get a chance or a situation or a shot at it, right? That's just the reality of it. Yeah. So looking back at this, Brian brought us, they did a deal on 105.3 The Fan, blogging the boys. But before I go there with Brian Broadus, shout out to Vaj Lombardi. He was on the show last night with KG and Reggie. Shout out to those boys. I think they do not a good job at all. Those boys do a great job. So round of applause to one of our compatriots, Vaj Lombardi, for what he do out there for the community. Shout out to him, y'all. Shout out to him. Happy Friday to you all. Let's listen to this.
Talked about the Cowboys backing out of this thing. We've only really kind of talked about hanging in there and making picks. But this one is interesting because they got the Seahawks. They got the Seahawks coming to 26. And if you look at what Blogging the Boys did, the compensation you get back on the Cowboy trade chart, it's within 4 points.
Okay.
So this is not one of those. Sometimes it's like, people are like, hey, Broadus, they should trade back, and they'll get a 1, another 1, and a 2.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way. So
it doesn't work.
You got to Google up that trade chart.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Let 'em know.
No, but sometimes it's like, I think people have become more realistic with, when they start talking about trading.
No doubt. I got a super chat from Sanjay. Let me see if I can get this up there. Appreciate you so much for your support or what have you. Let's see if we can put this up there. Appreciate you so much. Let me get this up here. Boom. Should pop up sometime. Come on. Get on up there. There we go. They wanna stall on me, y'all. Boom. There we go. Hey. Can't stop a tank with no K, baby. All right, so Bland went against Noah Brown, type of wide receivers. Ashanti Samuel had a good rookie season and then had a slump the past season. I get that, and trust and believe this right here. When you look up INTs, there's nowhere in the record book that it says, hey, this was against 2 wide receivers. This was against number 3 wide receivers. It's just an interception. And I get it, right? I can tell you right now, Deion Primetime Sanders, if you ask him, hey, can you play down inside the nickel? He would tell you, hell no. When you playing against wide receiver with two-way goals, that is difficult. Not all DBs can do that. And then when you ask said DB to say, hey, we want to get you from playing in the nickel to play on the outside, that is more difficult to do within the confines of the season. I'm not sullying nor denigrating Sauce Gardner. I think the kid is remarkable and amazing, right? So next season, we will see if he can continue to repeat that from what he did the previous year. But he can get burned. He ain't shut down, lockdown yet. He's still learning. He still got Similac in the back, you know what I'm saying, of his ear. So the same could be said with Bland. You will see DBs have ups and downs, but it's all about collecting and making sure that you gain and gather enough information and have a short-term memory. One thing I can tell you for sure, though, that any DB in a system that fits well for them, if they can continue to make turnovers, make plays, regardless if it's against 3s, 4s, 1s, or 2s, they will get recognition. So that's just what it is. But I would never discount players for taking balls away. And that's what that's their number one go-to card, even with this team. How many people saying yards allowed now? That phrase and that word is not even talked about anymore. Why? Because our DB, Trayvon Diggs, didn't lead the league in INTs this season. That's just how it goes. All right, let's listen to more of that.
Uh-huh. It used to be like you're just trying to guess.
And people will just buy it. People will believe it.
Oh, yeah, good trade. Yeah, I like it. No, it's not. If you called and asked for that, they'd laugh at you, is what would happen. So, anyway, what the Cowboys are going to get is they're going to give up the first-round pick, number 26, the Seahawks' second-round pick, which is at 37. They pick up 85, which is the third-round pick, and then a seventh-round pick, which is pick 237. So if you do the math, Dallas's pick at 26 is worth 700 points.
Right.
The Seahawks, with what you just traded for, is 696. So pretty much on the mark right there. All right, now
Square biz is what they call that, Brian.
Square business for sure on this one. So, okay, who you traded back to draft, and this is where blogging.
How far we trade back again?
We went from 26 to 37.
Okay,
so you went from
picks.
you went from the back of the first round to up and towards the front of the second round.
All right.
But you did. You picked up now. Now you own, if I can interest you in this, now you own, you got 37, 58, 85, and 90.
You picked up an extra top 100 pick.
Yeah, is what you really did right there. So that would be, to me, if you're so inclined, if the board doesn't fall to you right, maybe, Gavin, you don't want to take a running back there, that kind of situation. Maybe the corner board, like when we did the mock draft this morning on DallasCowboys.com on the draft show, the board on my board that was left were only offensive players as far as the top players. So, the cornerbacks got wiped out pretty good. And so, the tight ends, we had to talk about those guys as well. But this is what the Cowboys picked up. At 37, they draft Josh Downs, a wide receiver from North Carolina. Wolchuk, would you like to talk about Josh Downs?
Before they go into the conversational piece about Josh Downs, this is a new era. The era of the shorter guys, right? What can they do for you? Now, granted, Josh Downs, he's not a 6'4", 6'3", 6'2" guy, but he is a guy that got short area quickness, his burst and his accelerations where you can line him up inside or out. That would be a key, but this would be us still avoiding the upfront situations. Now, when we look at this offensive line versus the wide receiver, one can argue, hey, man, Law, you got 1,000 people at wide receiver. We need more and more help at interior. We need more and more help at O-line. Well, the same thing could be said for the fact that we are banging on the table for offensive line, and then the Cowboys front office is looking at it like, shoot, we just took an undrafted guy by the name of Terrence Steele, who is considered now a premium situation. Trust what we do. We can evaluate and we can elevate offensive line play. Y'all don't know what Alex Lindstrom can do right now. You guys don't know what Matt Farniok can do right now. They trust their evaluations up front, and all we can do is sit back and just complain about it, right? like we sitting there like, hey, we hear you, front office, but we don't want to see a possibility of Josh Ball being out there. But at the end of the day, if they get Josh Downs, right, by trading back a little bit, they're getting an explosive guy. But we already got explosiveness. But let's listen to what they have to say about this topic.
Yeah, he's a true slot receiver. Not very big, works the middle of the field, well on drags and slants. He's got a really nice stutter step at the top of his route to set up DBs. But he's a guy that you can move all over the formation, and he is a true playmaker. But to me, I don't think that he's going to be able to win on the outside of the NFL. I think some of the knocks on a guy like Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma apply to this individual. I think Josh Downs is a slot-only kind of player. I would rather take Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma.
Marvin
personally.
Mims would be, yeah.
I also think Parker Washington out of Penn State is better, in my opinion.
I like what
Josh
you're saying.
Downs.
Absolutely. All right, with Dallas's own pick, we've talked about this guy. Here's a guard-center combination, Steve Avila from TCU.
That's perfect, and that's a perfect pick, and I think the Cowboys do like Steve Avila, and he's a guy, man, if you want to be impressed, watch him against Michigan.
Yeah,
that
Michigan
was a big question.
Yeah.
Could TCU's offensive line handle that Michigan front? And Mozzie Smith, who's another guy that's being talked about a lot at 26 for the Cowboys, Steve Avila won that battle that afternoon.
There's people that think that Steve Avila might be their pick at 26. So this very much could be.
Now, as far as the pick at 26, the Cowboys, I don't know. When was the last time someone was right with who the Cowboys went and got outside of CeeDee Lamb? I think that, a lot of people were right on that. But the other picks, man, a lot of people were like, some news leaked that we was going to get Leighton Vander Esch. Who remember that we knew a whole day before it happened? You know what I'm saying? We had a guy who was in the inside. BPA, I feel you, Slim. BPA was always the way, right? Lamson Diggs was the one. Shout out to you, Jay Lombardi. Appreciate you. My thing is, and I'm seeing a lot of people talking about Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, that was a slam dunk. Now, and I'm reading some of your comments as we live right here. Be sure to do me a huge favor. Hit the like button, share this content. Some of y'all are saying that Ezekiel Elliott going to the Cincinnati. I've seen some people say the Eagles now, but both of those guys, I believe, with both of those teams are not all high end on Ezekiel Elliott for some strange reason, I guess. But the option and the choice will be there. If Ezekiel Elliott signs for a team, I think that they're going to wait after the draft. I think that's the situation. That's what's at play. I think that they are looking at everything, evaluating the guys, and they are saying, okay, before you pick up a bell cow, let's see what they can get out of the draft. So if draft picks don't fall the way it is, Ezekiel Elliott may find his home after the draft. And that's a wise move, by the way, and it's good for Ezekiel Elliott. One thing he don't want to do is get to a team and then all of a sudden they draft a guy and then he will be back in his same place. Zeke wants to be a starter, right? And when you want to be a starter, right, you know your worth, and you're going to sit back and say, hey, I'm waiting for the opportunity. But sometimes it can be a hindrance. Sometimes you got to work yourself back up to being in those good shoes or those good graces. Law, do you have any truth to that? Cam Newton, it should be no place possible for Cam Newton got to showcase that, hey, I got to go to somebody pro day to throw the ball around. Cam Newton want to be a starter. The NFL owners, GMs, or what have you, don't feel the same way about Cam Newton. Right? So they look at it like, hey, he's a progress stopper, or he will be in the way. But I'm going to tell y'all straight up, even if the Niners would have had Cam Newton, they probably would have beat the Eagles. They would have been in the Super Bowl, right? Somebody like, nah. Yeah, Cam Newton was better than the backup quarterback outside of the kid, Brock Purdy. Whoever that Johnson kid was, he came in there and it was just over with. I was like, man, Cam Newton on that team, he probably would have took him. They probably wouldn't have been able to look like they looked just a few seconds ago in that game. But truth be told, I love the way it worked out, though, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing like going all the way to the Super Bowl and watching that team lose. But y'all get what I'm saying. The expectations of Cam was like, hey, I'm a starter, and I refuse to be someone's backup or backup of a backup. And then you outprice yourself, and now, you're on the streets and you're throwing the ball for Auburn Pro Day. And the same could be said in a little bit for Odell Beckham, right? I'm not box wine Beckham, right? And all of a sudden, teams like, hey, you don't want to pay for this? Now, we will work out something with incentives, but sometimes you can outprice yourself. But let's listen to what they have to say right here.
Be like what they did with Diggs. All of a sudden, you're talking about a guy that Dallas was looking at with Diggs in the first round. Instead, they draft C.D. Lamb, and then they turn around and somehow they get Diggs in the second. Steve Avila maybe could be that similar kind of guy.
Could be your plug-and-play starting left guard.
Okay, this is Dallas. This is the pick you got from Seattle here. It's at number 85. And the Cowboys took Eli Ricks, and I know that he's the corner from Alabama, transferred from
Roll
LSU.
Tide.
Okay, Wolchuk, you know something about this player, not really good for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
All right, before he go into that, I believe Eli Rick in the college collegiate era for the 2022 last season, what have you, I think he allowed the lowest passer rating, and somebody can look that up, amongst all SEC DBs. Y'all can look that up for me. But Eli Rick, he is a guy that, he's going to cover you like a blanket. You're not going to get high passer rating on him. He's going to bat that ball down. He's going to travel, carry, cover. And he immediately, if he come to this particular team with the 85th pick, day one, he don't have to be your starter, right? You can literally sit him behind Gilly and say, learn. He didn't start many games last year for Bama Law. Yeah, but when he played, or when the last time, I think in the last 2 years, he allowed the lowest passer rate. Look that up because I was listening to one of those podcasts, not on the Cowboys.com. I think it was on Sirius Satellite Radio. And he allowed the lowest passer completion percentage amongst all DBs. So y'all look that up. Shout out to everybody. Everybody like, man, hey, Law gonna love those Bama boys and those Mississippi guys, man. Law bias. No, that's not the case nor the scenario, y'all. I love the LSU DBs too. You know what I'm saying? Not just Bama and Mississippi.
I don't think.
But just to say this, just to be fair, Forbes might be the best DB coming out of the draft.
The Cowboys.
Hey,
are
man, you
interested in
Forbes,
Eli
baby.
Ricks type of player. This is a guy
Let's go.
that's not going to give you much in the run game. I think he's susceptible against speedy, good route runners at receiver. I saw him get beat quite a bit, especially in that Tennessee game. He was a guy that Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt was able to take advantage of him down the field. You know, to me, I get why some people like Eli Ricks. I would be looking elsewhere at some other corners that maybe the Cowboys could be interested in. Maybe it's a Kai.
Wait a minute. If anybody going to use that game as the end all be all, because I think, you know how you just see somebody just own one? You know, that Tennessee game or that Tennessee game against Bama, they were just on one that game. God dog, boy. I mean, that Hendon Hooker, boy, he was on one. You know how you just see, like, hey, this dude is on one. Like Jordan when he scored 60 against the Celtics, right? Or was it, what the game, Jordan? Oh, no. Let me use this one better. When Kobe scored 81, you know what I'm saying? Like my guy, Dame, couple of weeks ago, well, many weeks ago now, when he put up 71. He was just on one, right? Sometimes you just going to be in that groove, man. And Jalen Hyatt right there, you can literally just use that as a quote-unquote, he's making it to the NFL, you know. 63 against the Celtics. Yeah, Roy, appreciate you. That Louisiana Roy. Yeah, sometimes you just get people that's on one. And you get look, you can't paint the whole team into a corner with just that one game, though. But Hooker versus Georgia was brutal. See, Hooker versus Jordan is your rebuttal. Yeah, Jozo. I see you, Sandberg. Yeah.
Caillou Blue Kelly.
Stanford.
Out of Stanford.
Yeah.
Caillou Blue.
In that range.
I like
There's
him
a kid
too.
named Caillou.
Yeah.
Caillou Blue Kelly,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
he's a good player. Yeah.
He is.
Just a kid who's 4.
Or even a Cam Mitchell out of Northwestern is a guy that I think could be an interesting name there as well. But if you're mocking, and I see this a lot, Eli Ricks to the Cowboys, I think you should look at some other corners.
Yeah.
Wait. Eli Ricks will be playing cover 3 here. And we know that as a rookie, you will have roll cover, right? And on top of that, he would have over-the-top help. So those reservations that you had against what he did, what happened to him against Jalen Hyatt and all of those things with Speedy, it would not be the same situation. Now, granted, you know, I said the same thing about Mullen and as well as Xavier Rhodes and whoever else we kind of scooped up last year. But to be fair, just to be fair, as a DB guy, I wouldn't mind that the Cowboys circle back to even Trayvon Mullen and bring him in for training camp, OTAs and beyond. Just circle back, bring those boys back. Even Xavier Rhodes, just bring them back. Look, you're going to need camp bodies. You're going to need people out there. You're going to need bodies. And whoever we draft in the draft, circle back to some of those boys. Not all of them, but circle back and see what they look like in training camp OTAs when they've really got the system. One thing is hard to do is take somebody and throw them into a system and say, hey, make it happen. And then when they get burnt once or twice, they trash. I don't think that that's a fair assessment to any defensive back. It's not, because I can clearly show y'all tape, and then y'all be like, man, that's prime. No way, Lord. There got to be somebody else in that 2-1 jersey for Atlanta. That can't be prime. That's why they're calling that man Neon, you know. Yeah. So circle back. Look, my guy Mike says, Law, my friend Ringo, 433. 40. Ringo to me, and just to me, is a guy that will fit perfect in the Cowboys Dan Quinn system. But for right now, people are only going to listen to more of, hey, man, super stiff, hey, man, because that is what's been taught to them or told to them by analysts, by, I guess, chair evaluators like me right now, and all of those people. But they would never look at it from the confines of, hey, Dan Quinn, off-season OTAs, training camps, and the system with this particular front four. You know what I'm saying? With the leverage of playing with the safety over the top. There are thousands of ways that you can look at it. But I get what people say, right? I get what people say. Ringo won't last long. No, watch the film. I feel y'all. But when you look at somebody that's aggressive physically and that can run a 4.3, it's pretty much fit the mold of what Quinn likes to do. But he can go to a wrong system and people say, yeah, I told you I was right? But that's how the draft is every year. Every year. If I go back to this time, around this time last year, and pull up people analysis on Sam Williams, you would see the same talk track. Stiff, no bend, one trick pony, not really talent there. Even before the time he ran the draft or what have you, before he ran his 4.4, slow, he looked like 4.6, he's not Parsons. And then when he's fast. Okay, but yeah, and then I was saying, look what he did to Neal. Look what he did to Cross, Charles Cross, right? Had him crisscrossing, right? So that's just how it is. But there's not a soul last year, right? Man, look at Neal, dog. Look what he was doing. And look at Cross, man. He's going to be the best offensive lineman coming out. Watch, mark my words, right? Mark my words. Watch Charles Cross, man. He's on a whole new level. Hey, Tyler Smith ain't no Charles Cross. Shoot, that Charles Cross. And now, them people, man, backpedaling like Dion. You know what I'm saying? They don't mention Charles Cross. Everybody mentioning now Tyler Smith. I digress.
I think you're absolutely right about that. Okay, Gavin, we're going to grab this running back at the third round pick, number 90.
Bang.
It's Kendre Miller from TCU.
Miller time, baby.
This is a guy, Kendre Miller, he's a local prospect of the Cowboys are rumored to be very interested in this guy. He's a guy that like when you watch him play late in the season, he got a little nicked up with a knee injury and stuff like that. And
they would have won without him, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. But this guy, when you're talking about a 5'11", 215-pound guy, he's kind of a twitchy kind of a player when you watch him run. And so I think that a guy at that size, that kind of ability right there, at 90, that might be exactly what you're kind of talking about with the running back. Maybe it's not what my thought about taking a Bijan Robinson, but you wait until there's good running backs in this draft.
Sure are.
Third, fourth, fifth round for the Cowboys to consider. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'll be interested to see though how they play it if Robinson's on the board. But other than the pick, like I say, and in the fourth round, real quick as I finish this up, they get linebacker Dorian Williams from Tulane.
Dorian Williams. The other night, when Dorian Williams pulled up on the mock draft, I went and looked at some of his film. I said, that Dorian Williams from Tulane. He's nice. Now, Miller is really nice. If you pick Miller up and you put him on Ohio State, right, Alabama, what round would he be drafted? A-Chain is nice, too. Yeah, Texas boy, he said, I'd take A-Chain over Miller. Oh, my gosh. If it wasn't for the political pressure, because the political pressure would be like, hey, you need more of a bell cow, right? You need that blocking tight. You need that blocking, not tight end, but blocking running back. But if you really stay true to your board, man, and if you got A-Chain over Miller, or if you got A-Chain up there, you would just say, hey, man, 2 tiers in the bucket, man. But that's a whole nother Texas boy. I feel you. Gibbs, nice, too. Miller is a baller. Yeah. Let's say if Gibbs stayed on Georgia, Tech, will he still be considered his considerations, right? And I like Gibbs. Y'all know, I did a video on Gibbs and his just crazy good numbers, right? But I'm going to tell you guys, because of the feedback from what you guys really took from those videos. Well, what if I could entertain you on Dwayne McBride, right? I get it. Not the program, not the school, the levels of competition. He can't get those 19 touchdowns if he was at Ohio State. He couldn't get those 19 touchdowns if he played for Bama or, let's say, what's another team I could throw out? Texas A&M. You guys get what I'm saying, right? Hook 'em. You know, I want Bijan or Zach. And this is from Willie T. Which Zach you want, though? Which Zach? You got to put the last name. Is that Evans? Charbonnet? You know, which Zach are you talking about? You know, we need a blocking back like Zeke. Yeah, we do. Well, look, that's the situation that we do need. What if you go and you draft a chain, and then you say, hey man, Zeke. You still out there, dog. You know what I'm saying? Zeke, you still out there, Zeke. We'll bring you back, man, for a cup of coffee. We heard the Eagles didn't want you. We heard the Cincinnati don't want you, you know. Although you want them, but they said that they don't want you from the fan base perspectives, you know. That would be crazy. But we've seen it happen. I've seen Mark Ingram go to another team and came back to the Saints. So it can happen, you know. That's just how it is, y'all. All right. So what I'm saying is that, man, the draft is such a crazy thing. All right. So that we can help 105.3 out, here's the link to that video, and you can play the entire video over there. They got a lot of stuff going. You hungry, dog? Zeke, we love you, man. But to be fair to everything, allow that man to test the market and see what he can get out there. And as long as he don't soil or sully the waters, he's welcome back, right? Zeke sexuals are wait a minute. They went from Romo sexual to Zeke to Dak sexuals to now Zeke sexuals. Shout out to Zeke, man. The market is wide open for him, though. There should be, I know for sure, 31 other teams to take a look at him. And if he is who he is, then 31 other teams one of the 31 other teams should pick him up. But so wait and see. It is what it is. We have cable subscription. Why have cable subscription when you have Law Nation? Yes, indeed, baby. I love that, man. Come on. Y'all know how it is. What is it?
Damn!
Give me my theme music.
Come on, baby. Here I go. Come on, y'all. Hey. Ho. Come on, Bijan sexuals. Robinson, you know, appreciate you, Choctaw. All right, so I want to go over this and trust and believe by the end of the week as such, I will try to go down the entire list of all of the interior guys as far as defensive tackles. Y'all know I like the Jalen Carter kid. I do like Brian Breesy. I like those guys. I like Mozzie. I said Mozzie. I like Mozzie. I even like some of the fringe guys on the edge, like Will Anderson. I know he won't be there. Tyree, I like him. Wilson. Miles Murphy. I like Miles Murphy. Nolan Smith, I like a lot of guys because I'm looking at it from the confines of how they will fit within the confines of the Cowboys. Luke Van Ness, I like his skill set. Well, you like them all, you know, because I'm looking at skill set and can they help the interior? As far as big boys, of course, Dexter, he's there. Mozzie, Ika, I like his skill set. Benton, what he brings to the table. And those guys, even a DJ Dale, I'm looking at it from a perspective of, hey, philosophy. We need help inside. We need guys that can penetrate, get upfield, shed, stop the run, those type of things. And can they grow? Will there be some growing pains? Yes. Will there be some issues with some of the things in the approach to the game? Yes. But I'm looking at it like, hey, if the Cowboys can pretty much so fill in a voided spot by philosophy, then we are better than what we were the previous year. We are. We from a philosophy standpoint. And instead of waiting to the 4th or the 5th round to go get those guys, right? So when we look at Kancey, Kalijah Kancey, his step, his burst, his get off is there, and he got more than a bull rush as a pass rush technique from the inside. Now, where he get you is lower center of gravity. He's 6'1.5", so it's going to be hard for you to win every rep. Most sacks in the National Football League comes in the 3rd and 4th quarter. And even if you look at it like, hey, will he be a day one starter if you draft him in the 26th pick? Quite possible. The answer to that would be no. He'll be rotated in until he get his feet wet. But those are the things that you will have to understand when you drafting a DT. A defensive tackle coming into the league will be a rotation situation. As much as everybody we praise, and we gave some high and good praises to Big Jordan Davis. We did last season. Did he start every game for, dare I say, the Eagles? No. No, he didn't. But you can look back and say, yeah, injuries played a part of it. But I don't think that a defensive tackle coming out of this particular draft is up there even with a Jordan Davis, right? And look what he did last season. So when you bring in things with context, right, and you would say, all right, well, Law, I get you. I feel you on that, on your analysis of this dude. But don't we already got him out of Osa? One of the things that I said before, and I'm going to say it again, Bill Parcells said, if you think you're great at a spot, draft again, right? And I love what Osa brings to the table. There are some things in his game that he is lacking that this kid that I seen from his college tape has already excelled at. His explosion and his get off is even a tick faster than Osa. And in the last 2 seasons, 14.5 sacks from the inside, even at that weight of 281 pounds out of Kancey. Bring that to the table. And someone asks, hey, bro, can he stop the run? Yeah. He is a guy that can squeeze down into the B gap, and he'll penetrate. He's a knife. He's going to knife right in there. Is he a 2-gapper guy? No, I don't see that. I don't see him 2-gap. I'm not asking him to do that, but I'm asking him to get home, get to the quarterback. I'm asking him to demand to, because what will happen here, if he's going to be whooping your ASS as well as Osa, even if you put both of those 2 light bodies inside, right? And now all of a sudden, you saying that, hey, what's going on here, man? I thought you had him. No, you supposed to have him inside. Wait a minute. well, who got Parsons? Riggs! You supposed to block Parsons. Yeah, so a combo of him and Osa will be just that. Hey, one of y'all supposed to have Parsons. I thought you supposed to have Parsons, you know. Well, I was blocking the center. You know what I'm saying? I was blocking Osa. There was too many times, ladies and gentlemen, too many times I saw Osa won his and he was just close guy, and the other guy was sitting there like, hey, what do I do now? Right? And there was either Carlos Watkins. Now, Jonathan Hankins, he's not a double-digit sack guy when we had him on the team, but he's a hell of a plug, right? He can stop the run. He can stop the run. You can literally re him up, and I heard from Brian Broadus that for right now, even Jonathan Hankins, he's sitting there like, man, I'm looking for a better deal. You know, I want more and more money. Chris Graham says, what about Will McDonald? Phenomenal kid. You're going to go through some growing pains, but phenomenal. All of these guys. Look, as I'm going to put out here once again, another disclaimer. None of these guys are already made. Every one of the people that you draft out of the 2023 draft got to go through some growing pains. There will be some hiccups, some, hey, what was that moments for anybody that you draft. That's just the reality of it. But if I can get a guy that I can insert and put right beside the guys that we have already, shoot. Jay Worthy, Eagles getting sued. Joseph last year, Linville Joseph last year said it all about Jordan Davis, right? And Jay Worthy, you got a great point here. Salute to you, my dog. My guy Jay Worthy, off the top ropes. Right? So out of these guys, pick Jordan Davis up and you put him in this draft. Who's better than Jordan Davis? Is Mozzie better than Jordan Davis? Right? Is Brian Breesy better than Jordan Davis? Carter! Is he better than Jordan Davis? So, year to year, man, this thing changed, baby. Peasy is. Okay, Peasy. Make it easy, baby, for Peasy. Yes, indeed. So when we look at all of those, Dexter Sr., y'all like him? Yeah. Gerard Clark. So you go, the list go on and on. Slade Jacob, so looking at this list right here. Yeah, so it's a year-to-year thing, proposition. Player acquisition 365. You got to get look. Noah Beats broke it down. You got to get on the field. Oh yeah, you got to get on the field regardless of it. All prospects, So there could be in every draft could be a new guy that can come in and tickle your fancy. Every draft. That's why the uncertainty will be there. The only way that you can mask the uncertainty is getting away from the unknown and getting the known, right? You put in some trade offers to DeForest Buckner, and he come over here. You know what he can bring to the table. It's a known commodity, right? You get a trade situation for, let's say, Vita Vea. Shoot, you might lose. You're gonna lose something, some draft capital and some money. But you put Vita Vea in here, we wouldn't even be having these conversations. Shoot, y'all get what I'm saying? All right, so it's Friday, man. I want to know y'all thoughts, man. I want to make it quick, but I got to bounce at 12:45.
Call my phone, hit my line.
Got a meeting.
Keep it super thug my way on this side.
Brought to you by Inside the Huddle, Season 29. Your host, Law Nation Sports. We're going to be doing some great things this season. Be sure to check us out. But in the meantime, in the between time, 657-390-7391. Appreciate y'all. One love.
Whether we East Coastin' or we in the hidden hills. In the poppin' straps of blue faces, not the pills. Heard you callin' bluffs, I show and prove it is for real. Son of God,
you are the
not
only
a son of
participant
Sam.
in the conference.
Keep it off the books and keep
All
it coming.
participants
Happy
muted.
Friday to you all. I thank y'all so much. I do. I appreciate y'all. 657-390-7391 is the hotline for your mind. I got my guy, my dog. Oh, he ran off. Here we go. It just refreshed. There we go. Ooh, they filling in here. 100 grand with the plan, dog.
My God, what's good, man?
Not much, man. Holla at me, man.
Listen, man, I agree with what you're saying about the big boy in the middle. I think we need that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we get that, man, our defense is, I don't see no holes, man. And there are no holes, dog. That's the only hole is the run. The only one, man, is that
inside.
run up the middle. And we got the guys that's going to, I just don't see no holes, man. And I make our offense, we could just go out there and just do us. And don't imagine Dak Prescott don't got to be nervous, don't got to get it all back in one play because your defense is going to go out there and make it stop.
Yeah, make it happen.
He don't got to go out there and be Superman.
Right.
Don't got to do that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't play with that defense that Cooper Rush played with, and nobody want to talk about that.
No,
Keep that
them fighting
Keep
words,
that
man.
Damn!
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to talk about that. They act like that Cooper Rush ain't had a number one defense in the league. You know what I mean? When you only putting up 12 points, 13 points, 19 points, Dak Prescott ain't never had that. Come on, man.
No doubt.
Come on,
man.
dog.
Man, no
But
doubt.
it's a new season. Let's move on. But yeah, I think that makes too much sense, man. That makes too much sense. I think it might be a possibility, though. I want it to be. I don't want to tie. I don't want to tie that.
Well,
I really don't.
Well, I get what you're saying with that. Don't want in a tight end, but I did like what Brian Browder said with Steve Avila, and then in the later rounds you can still get you a running back that will be core. In the second round, you can probably still find an interior. Look, they can literally with the first two picks get Steve Avila with the first one, right, and then in the 58, with the 58 pick, still find an interior guy. And let it shake from there, and then go with your skill guys with the third and the fourth and beyond. So it can flat out possible happen this year.
I like that. Go in the trenches. The first two picks. Let's tighten that up and make that happen. That's going to make your quarterback better. That's going to make your defense better. I like those ideas, going into the trenches with the first two picks and just let us get everybody else in the later rounds. Because this draft, as far as skill players, ain't really that much difference like that. So you can really, you can make it shake like that.
Make it shake, man. I appreciate you $100,000 for calling in, fam. Salute, bro.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, my guy. You already know.
Yes, it is. $100,000. I haven't forgot about him though. He probably like, damn man, Law forgot about me, man. They Ezekiel Elliott me. You know what I'm saying? He forgot about me, but I haven't forgot about you, dog. All right, 725, you're live. Once, twice, 725, you're live. 3 times a lady. Aaron. You're live from the 562.
What's going on, Laura? How you doing?
All is well, man. Holla at me, man.
Oh man. Hey, I agree with you. Draft the big boys up front and whatnot. But I got a side note or a side question. Am I tripping, or have less players got in trouble for weed?
They took it off. You know what I'm saying? They took it off as a punishment. You know what I'm saying? So you can roll them and smoke them now. You can roll them and smoke them, get high as a kite if you want to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's dope. See?
Dope.
Okay. That makes
and to me personally, the NFL should have been made that move. Like it's not like it's a. For one, it's not a gateway from all of the history and research that we studied. Cigarettes more of a gateway drug than the plant stuff. So, yeah, and it's more attention that the NFL was bringing to themselves. So yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, draft big boys. So if you drafting big boys up front in the first 2 rounds, are you going defense first, then offense, or offense and defense? I know BPA is the goal, but
right.
You got both one offense and defense players, and both good as high on your draft board. You going defense first or offense?
Yeah. Let me say this. Let me say this though. Allegedly, I forgot to put allegedly as far as gateway because I don't want Facebook to give me. So allegedly, that plant ain't a gateway. But what I wanted to say is that there are tiers within tiers of BPA, because there could be a philosophy of BPA with offensive lineman, who's the best player available for that tier, who's the best player available for defensive lineman, who's the best player available for wide receivers, etc. So when we look at BPA, We look at it from the box that we are in, right? They looking at it from a whole different construct because they may still be developing an offensive lineman or a defensive tackle that they already have likes for, and it could water down the draft from their perspective. So yeah.
Okay. Hey, one more thing.
Go ahead.
What I was gonna say, if you had to pick a player in the draft, first and second, you expect your first and second round draft pick to start, right?
You have that expectations, but the Cowboys don't give a damn about what we think now because I see Sam Williams sitting on the bench and we're like, hey, he's drafted in the second, right? Why he ain't out there? And then we seen the same thing happen with Kelvin Joseph. Like, yeah, I get it, man. He's a few screws loose, but we already seen the evaluation of Anthony Brown, right? We already knew what he can do. I mean, put Kelvin Joseph, at least he got to get the growing pains out the way, but we seen him sit on the bench for a long time. So
Okay.
So
sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Law. I'll holler at you later.
Appreciate you, man. That's from the 5'6" That's Aaron. All right, so you guys get what I'm saying. Like, sometimes we can be looking at like, hey, second round draft pick, they got to play. But from the Cowboys' perspective, nah.
The conference has been locked.
Nah, dog. You know, it is what it is. I got Soul Goddess from the 347. You live.
Hey, Laura, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Wish you happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Give me
to
one
you.
second. I think I have the YouTube playing in the background, overlapping. Okay, there we go. So I want to wish you happy Friday and thank you because you've been on here like crazy, putting in so much work. So we really appreciate that with the content coming out. It's been very fire. All I want to say is I know everyone is so happy to go defense, but
Right.
I would like to draft interior linemen just to help Dak hold the line because I feel like we still have to put points on the board. And defense will stop people all day, but putting points on the board is what wins you the game. So I just want to draft maybe interior lineman first, just to give Dak time to go through his progressions. That way, for some reason, if the receiver can't get the separation that he needs, he has time and he could always go back to get that ball where it needs to go. Because the longer the O-line is on the field, sometimes the more we give our defense rest. And I think a lot of the games where we struggled, we had our defense on the field so much that by like the third and fourth quarter, they were getting gassed. And that's what really caused us to lose games that we really should have won. So, I mean, that's my point. People could debate it in the chat all they want, but that's how I'm feeling about the draft this year because I really appreciate the defense we have. The last 2 years, we've been going to the postseason with our defense. So, yeah, we could get that one key player, the two key players that would make us great. But like McCarthy said, he don't want to be the number one defense and number one offense. He wants to win the whole thing.
Yeah, he won't be the number one team.
That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, good point.
That's just my 2 cents.
Good call. Thank you.
Have a good day, guys.
Yeah, Soul Goddess from the 347. I think what they're going to do here is they're going to look at it like if they got 4 or 5 guys with tags or touching, which will be unique if you have 4 or 5 guys with tags or touching on the offensive side from the interior or from the interior to defense. They're going to trade back if that would be the situation. If you got all of those guys touching, excuse me, I need to get some water. But if you got all of those guys touching, we're going to let this next caller on. I'm going to go grab some water. So I'm going to let my guy, Noah, hold it down, man, while I go grab some water, okay? You live.
Man, what's up, Law?
Yeah, hold it down. I'm going to grab me some water, man.
Okay, no problem.
You running the show.
Oh, man. I'm gonna do my best till you come back. Yeah, how the chat doing? How everybody doing out there in the Cowboy Nation? The last caller that was on, I agree with everything. I ain't gonna say everything, but I agree with what you said. That was some great points. I used to say the same things to my son, like, man, look how fast our offense got off the field. Our defense was just on the field for 8 minutes. And gave up just a field goal just for them to come right back on the field, and then we happened to give up a touchdown. Like you were saying, Goddess, that's because our defense do be needing rest at key points of the game. And I noticed sometimes that's where our offense is slipped between the third and fourth quarter, where our offense started to get a little bit slow tempo-wise, and we have more 3-and-outs around the end of the third quarter going into the fourth. And I noticed that's when we give up 13 and 14 points that we was maintaining for the first half, because it has been 5 or 6 games where going into halftime, we only gave up like 10 points. And then you see around the third and fourth quarter, we done gave up 14 to 20 points and end up losing those games. So I agree with you on that 100%.
No doubt, man. No, I'm back now, man. You've been holding it down, man. Noah Nation.
I just took the analysis from what Goddess was saying about, pretty much saying our defense was being fatigued, which I do agree a little bit, but I also believe that also comes with play calling. That's kind of more scheme directed, in my opinion, more than an offensive line piece.
Yeah, we call it complementary football, right? And we have seen some of it when those when it was the weeks whereas Dak got hurt and we was like, hey, let's not throw the ball all over the field. Let's play complementary football. And if we can figure out a way to get a 7 or 10-point lead, then it's over with, right? Because we know for sure we just throw our jabs, But I think where we got lost at is when we try to do too many haymakers, when we try to go for the kill shot too fast and quickly, and we seen that. Like, for example, we won that game against Chicago, but there was no really need for Dak Prescott to throw the ball in the middle of the field to CeeDee Lamb, and you remember that INT?
Right.
It was really no need for that, right? It was too over aggressive.
Being too over aggressive. No, I agree, and it was a lot of moments in the season where them type of plays was being called where it should have been more run, and it seemed like somebody was trying to just pretty much appease. Pretty much McCarthy saying, okay, I'm going to do balance, so let me pass, just to keep the numbers balanced.
Right,
so it won't be more
right.
So I can get the credit. That's what it was you could tell it was a struggle between the play caller.
Right, you can see and the rhythm, like, let's go to the Green Bay game. We lost that game, but it was really, we was inside our own 20. It was no need for Dak Prescott to even throw that INT. Even though we kind of climbed ourselves out of it, it was really no need, you see? So hopefully in complementary football will be, hey, we're gonna get enough to get there to score, right? And then we trust our defense. And that's what you see out of teams that know how to, finagle that thing. But I appreciate you, Noah Brown. Thank you so much. I mean, not Noah Brown, but Noah, I appreciate you. I'm about to say, what's your last name? But I ain't going to get that close. But Noah B, man, I appreciate you, dog.
I'm Devin Lacey. That's my real name. But, hey, I didn't even get my first round pick in, man.
Who you got?
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to go with the field, like you say, best.
BPA.
I'm going to go with best player available because, man, I've been running the mess out of them drafts, man. And I even took the PPV, whatever you call it. I pulled it all the way up on the settings so it will pick what the team is actually trying to go for. And even after we got Robinson with that first pick, I was still lost. Like, what do we do next with the rest of these picks? And the only thing I want to say when people say why Sam Williams didn't start, I mean, we do say the Cowboys draft well, right?
They do.
So that means our previous picks and the people we have on the field just so happen to be playing a little bit better at that time. So I'll give them credit for that. Because if your first round and second round picks every year is always on the field, that means that somebody is not doing well. My opinion.
Yeah, that's a good observation.
Or not doing well enough to hold the spot down, I guess. But
That's just how it goes.
It's a
But
good problem to have.
it's a good problem to have. Yeah, that's why you got both of those guys on 1-year rentals. Fowler and Armstrong on 1-year rentals, and Sam Williams. If he's the dog that I think he is, he's going to be looking at those boys saying, "I'm better. I'm better than all of y'all." Yeah, so he should be out there.
And then, like you said, they're on 1-year rentals, and as soon as he just showed that just a little bit more improvement for what they want to see, through their eyes, we're gonna let them boys go, and there you go. He's gonna be starting.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you for calling in, fam. Yeah, good call from me.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. I got enough time for one more person, and that will be Jared. Appreciate you, man, for the 260, man. You're live.
What's good with it, Law?
Not much, man. Holla at me.
So, first round pick, I already have a guy in mind, man. I don't know if he's going to be on the board, but I've been watching a lot of college football lately, man. That wide receiver out of Tennessee, Halen Hyatt, that dude's super dynamic. Like, if you put him with Lamb, like, I think we would do damage, Law.
So he's gonna have a tall hill to climb, man. He's gonna have to beat out MG13. He's gonna have to beat out Cooks. He's gonna have to beat out Simi. He's gonna have to beat out Jalen Tolbert. That's a tall hill, man, for him to even get reps.
Yeah, I got you. Right.
But I feel you though. Yeah, go ahead.
And I think this comparison may be a little bit far reaching, but I don't know. I see the Deshaun Jackson vibes a little bit, Law. Like a smaller, like super dynamic deep threat.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna look for what he did against Alabama, you know, and of course Hendon Hooker was just launching that thing. I can see what you're saying. What you're saying, but I'm not going to shoot that down. Though. But I've seen some mocks where is he falling right at the 58 spot.
Right. Could you imagine him with Lamb, though, Law? That's a lot of speed to defend, bro.
It is a lot of high end speed. And then I seen him catch some underneath passes too. I don't know the Cowboys on how they operate with that though. On whether or not, you know, that they would go that high in a draft to get a Jalen Hyatt when you still have CeeDee Lamb and you still have the likes of picking up Brandon Cooks, who I think he will be here for 2 or 3 years, right? So, but I feel you though. I'm not finna shoot it down because a lot of people may be out on Michael Gallup as your third option.
I mean, he gets hurt a lot though. That's the problem.
Yeah. Shoot. It's crazy, man, how we look at everything, JT. Any other person you want me to take a look at before I let you go?
So, and this one's a big risk, and he probably won't fall to us, but if he does fall, what do you think about us taking Jalen Carter possibly? If he does fall to us?
If he falls to us, Jalen Carter, that'll be like he's a 3-tech guy, not a 1. He's a guy that I look at even like Kancey. I think that he wins with hands. He wins with burst get off, but he sometimes can play with too high of a pad level. Some people question his motor abilities. And his bad tape, his worst tape is against Ohio. We all seen that. Stood right up, couldn't get off. There are some possibilities that when you look at the con versus the pros, I think he still have more pros than cons. But that would be a situation that the Cowboys, by them picking up Jalen Carter, that it's going to be so much negative news around it because we are the Cowboys. And it's just what it is, unfortunately. Roger Goodell will probably suspend him for 6 games just because.
And one more thing to be fair, though, like I feel like when people struggle against Ohio State, that's almost like expected because Ohio State always has some of the like biggest offensive lines probably in the country. Like their offensive line is literally like NFL size.
Yeah,
like,
they big. Yeah.
We gotta put that in the context a little bit, you know.
Yeah, but and I always look at it like this too. Jalen Carter on this team, with the likes of Dirty and my guy, Dan Quinn, will help him out with. He's going to be a monster. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for calling in, fam.
Hey, Law Nation, stand up.
Yes, indeed, man. That's my guy, JT. Always bringing in some objective analysis, stretching our minds to it. Cowboy Nation, I got a dip. I got to go. I got a meeting to be a part of at the top of the hour. Appreciate y'all so much. As on my way out, I always love to give you guys these thoughts here. Get out the way. These thoughts right here. And let me pull up my background music. Because we will be live tonight, I believe, the round table, right? And it's going to be me, my guy Foots the King, Okoye, Sky, Vach, and you all, right? The round table, brought to you by Cowboys content creators. So in between that time frame, when I get back, there may be some more film analysis. For those who called in, call back in tomorrow, right? And we will have the interaction type of show. Or if not, I might go live another time. You know, they might have some breaking news. Cowboys signing. Bobby Wags. Cowboys trading for someone. They love to do that on a Friday night too. So y'all be mindful of that. But neither here nor there, write this down. Write these things down. When you're up against your struggles, meet it squarely face to face. Lift your chin, set your shoulders, plant your feet, and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fall, you may conquer, see it through. Black may be the clouds about you, and your future may seem grim. Guess what? Don't let your nerves desert you. Keep yourself in fighting trim. If worse is bound to happen, in spite of all that you do, write this down. Running from it. Oh yes, running from it will not save you. Even hope may seem futile. Then with trouble may be beset. Remember, you're facing what other legends have met. Roger Staubach. Oh my goodness, the playmaker. He's still going through it. Right. Keep your head high, eyes all the way through the finish. See this thing through. See it through. It's that law. See it through, baby. And yes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to grind and shine, baby. We're going to continue to fight. And I promise you, a prize fighter, even when he's down, he's continued to swing. He's continued to fight this thing all the way through, and he's seeing it all the way through. Jim Rowan once said, when the end comes for me, let it find me conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours.
Give me my theme music.
Damn.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. We up out here. Run it up one time for your boy. Let's run it up, baby. We up out.
I just wanna run it up.
That's what I want to do.
Kinda check or something.
Run it all the way up. Come on. Roll.
I've been really in the field. I wish I love the field lately. I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to
Let's
take
go.
it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Hey. Ho. Come on.
Kinda check or something. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on.
Count that too, count it up, count it up.
Shout out to all the soups. Sanjay. Walls of Jericho podcast. Let's go. Roll those credits one more time for your mind. Charge it to the high.
I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T Black, I'm with Reverend now. I'm with Gay, yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, I switching sides, now it's about loyalty. You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I'm the designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it.
Hey, money fall out of the sky for your boy one time. Yeah.
I just wanna run it up.
Come on.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. I have to take it to a meal lately.
I just wanna run it up. Come on, we up out.
Kinda check the song. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Hey.
This is Sparta!
Lately,
Until next time, baby.